a factory location where you get land at affordable prices, where you get water, resources, labor, electricity, XYZ, right? All those things. Even in some states, you get special considerations from the state governments, right? That hey, you come here and you create a factory, and we'll give you certain exemptions in tax. So it is not what is important is that what is your thought process while selecting the factory location. What is your important factor that you considered while selecting the location? So this is something that people would be interested to hear. Then management roles and their profile strengths and specialization areas. Of course, this comes under the organization structure. Once you define the structure, you can also talk briefly about the profiles of or the strengths of the people. Right. I'll be going to the next slide, and please feel free to stop me at any point of time. And Abhilash, just a quick question here. How much time do I have?
Yeah, you can take till 4:45, I believe.
All right, so we have 45 minutes. Okay,
Yeah, it's
thanks.
a primary agenda, and then if you even more, you can need more time, we can take it. So no issue.
Right. Thank you, Abhilash. Then I have a couple of examples, at some of the junctures which I would like to
Yeah, I
share.
think that will be good. Sure.
Right. So this next slide talks about the market research and analysis, right? And if you look at some of the
So,
words that are written here, yeah,
so, so do we need to be very specific for management roles and specialization areas?
uh, Abhilash, I am not able to hear the voice properly, the
So
question properly. Can you please repeat if you can hear it?
I think the question was, do the students has to be very specific about the roles and profiles and strength in management roles, or it can be little generalized? That was the question, if I heard clearly.
All right, I understand. See, I can give you my perspective, and of course, respective teams can work with their mentors to clarify this further as well. But see, my perspective is once you are creating a firm, right? Once you are hiring some people, you need to have the strengths or the specialization areas which you want. For example, if you want somebody in the finance role, you cannot have people who are chemical engineers, right? I mean, maybe in certain cases that might work, but in most of the cases you are not going to work that way. So you need right people with right strengths, with right specializations in the right roles. That's what the expectation is, and it is just about what is your thought process behind selecting those roles. That's it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we move to the next slide, which is market research and analysis. And look, what some of the text that is mentioned here, it talks about customer voices, interview, market research, competition, facts or figures, product segments. Let me give you certain examples. uh, the moment you talk about building a product, you first need to make sure that you your product is really needed in the market, right? If you have not even talked to your potential customers, if you have not really interviewed them, you won't be able to understand their pain points. One of the very interesting quotes that I have heard in the marketing is when some customer goes to the market to buy a drilling machine, the marketer says that, hey, that customer is not here to buy a drilling machine. That customer actually wants to create a hole in their wall, and for that he or she needs a drill. So their requirement is something different. The product that they are going to buy is only going to help them do that particular job. So have you heard the customer voices? Have you interviewed your customers? Have you done proper market research whether your product or feature is needed or not? Do you also know the competition in this segment? For example, yes, I mean, it is important that you should know about your company, about your product. But at the end of the day, you also need to understand about your competition. If you don't even know what your competition is, what do they offer, you don't know about your differentiators, right? You don't know about your differentiators, you don't even know where you place your product, where your product might need some improvement, or where your product might be better than the competition. So this information is also expected, that uh, in whichever area you are going, whichever implement you are building, you know about the competition as well. Then some facts and figures supporting survey. Of course, this is generic, that but whenever you present some customer voices, some interviews, or some fact regarding the market, you need to have certain facts or figures that can support your claim. Then there is also a word here which talks about market niche. In my understanding, what market niche is, you need to have your product which is specifically for a target segment, right? Market niche is something that this is where you will find your potential customers. Mm. Now, for example, I have a tractor that I want to sell, right? And I take that tractor to a shopping mall in Pune, and I display that tractor there so that my customer would come and buy it. Do you think I'll get a tractor customer in a shopping mall in Pune? Probably not, right? So market niche is something that you have to understand your target customers well. That all right, this is the implement that I'm creating, and this is my target customer segment. They probably have 2 acres of land or 5 acres of land. They are doing potato plant. I'm just giving you an example, right? They are doing potato planting. uh, they have they already have a tractor which is of this particular horsepower. This is my target segment. They are the customers whom I want to contact. They are the customers who I want to follow. This is what your market niche is. You need to create your market niche so that you understand your customers. uh, Cost economics. Now, in marketing and sales, see, cost economics is, for example, I go to a grocery store and buy a toothpaste, right? I, as a customer, I am not really looking at uh, how much money this toothpaste will actually earn for me, right? But it is not similar for a farmer buying a tractor or an implement. They are buying a tractor or an implement to earn some money, right? To be more productive. So how much money as a farmer or as a customer I have to spend to purchase your implement, and how much profits your implement can generate for me in the next few years, like, for example, right? So if you are selling your implement at 50,000 rupees, you, as a marketer, need to explain to me as a customer that all right, customer, you are paying me 50,000 rupees, but this implement is going to help you earn more money, so that in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the line, you will earn enough money that you have already spent on this implement, and you will also start earning money after 3 4 years. So this is called ROI, return on investment. So something like this you have to explain here. This is the money that your customer has to pay you, and this is the money that your product can probably pay them. This is what cost economics is. Is there a question?
Yeah, Suraj, Bharat here. Just to add 2 points. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Bharat, please carry on.
Yeah. So in cost economy, just you need to compare what are the current planting expenses customer has to bear. So, for example, for 1 acre, how much labor how much labors are required? Total expenses on those particular labors. And apart from the labor expenses, you also work out how much time it took to plant 1 acre just you have to take an example, because if you compare 1 acre with current practices as against when you are going to introduce that particular transplanter, those expenses and that particular difference you need to work out, and yeah, you need to show it in terms of how much money farmer is going to save with the help of this mechanized solution. And regarding when you are going to meet customer, just you need to discuss with customer regarding what are the challenges. Just to add to the market research point, what are the current challenges farmers they are facing, and how we are going to resolve those pain points with the help of solution which we are going to develop. And the ROI is nothing but how much money customer is going to earn with this machine as against what exactly the investment customer has the money customer has put in this particular machine while purchasing. And you also need to work out how much is the window for transplanting maybe chili or tomato or onion. So you need to consider the transplanting window, and based on that, those number of days, how much profit or how much profit customer is going to earn each day. So just you have to calculate those number of days into the profit he is going to earn as against whatever expenses he is doing. Yes, Sudan, go ahead. Thank you.
Right, Bharat. Thank you for adding it. And on the cost economics, I think you brought up a very good point. And let me also try to put my perspective here. See how the farmer can earn money. One might be by saving some cost, and the other might be by increasing their yield, for example, right? So if the customer is already, let's say, spending 5,000 rupees on seeding, is there any way your implement help them to save some money? If you are saving some money, yes, it's a benefit to the farmer, and you can bring it in cost economics. On the other hand, if your product, if your implement can help the farmer increase their yield, if there is increase in yield, that means they can sell their yield and they'll earn more profits. If that is the case, that also adds to the profits of the customer, and that can also be put into cost economics. So it depends what your implement is going to do, that you can put in the cost economics. Thank you, Bharat, for adding it. And benchmarking analysis, again, I think Bharat has already covered this particular point, but even in the benchmarking, how your product is going to perform with respect to other product from the competition. Right. Before I move to the next slide, any questions on this? I'll just wait for a few seconds if somebody have any questions.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, can you hear me? I have a doubt.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, the content for this slide is more than what we can include in this slide, sir. At least we need 2 slides to make this content. And also you have instructed that we had to cover up only within 13 slides. So I'm asking, shall we increase the number of slides, or what to do with it?
Abhilash, any answer to that particular question? I have one perspective to share, but Abhilash, I would ask you to
No,
answer this, please.
it's preferable to stay within that slide limit. But in case you have more information that you've gathered you want to share, I think feel free to add more slide. Not recommended, but definitely if that is something you couldn't accommodate, you can add it. Dharmendra, you have any specific
Yes,
instructions?
so we have given one edit slide in the last, that is custom site, that can be used in
Yeah.
any of the title site, but it should not increase the count from 14. Otherwise, what happened, Abhilash? Instead of 14 slides, we will end up evaluating, say, 2021.
Right.
and it will be a cumbersome process for us. So
So one more
try to
slide
check with
can
the,
be there.
yeah, one more slide can be added, not more than this.
One more than that.
Right. So just on a general note, I have a perspective. You see, it is not about covering everything. When you're presenting something, it is about covering the most important thing. So if there are 10 points mentioned on this particular slide, though all those 10 points might not be the most important for you, when you are working on your project, you might end up finding that, all right, these 2 or 3 points are the most important points that I'm going to cover in this particular slide. So even when you are going to present it, right, when you're going to present it, you don't need a lot of text on it, because you're going to voice over at the end of the day. So my suggestion would be that you put whatever you think is the most important thing. Just don't put all the data that you have worked upon. Some of that data might not be really relevant, or might not be that important as compared to the other points.
Okay, sir. So what you're saying is, it is not necessary to put all the things mentioned here, like let's say customer invoices, interview, market research on the product. So if we think market on the product need is important, mentioning that alone is enough, right?
So since you have got only one slide here, dear, so
Yes.
that means you have to choose some of these things. Now these are the things where I can probably make 100 slides on these topics, right? So you have to choose
Yes.
what do you think is the most important thing here regarding to your implement and regarding to your study as a team. You think that this is the most important thing that we have worked upon, and this has to be shown to the people, to the judges, to the jury.
Okay, sir. So as we worked for benchmarking analysis, that will take for a slide, sir. So that's why I have asked this question.
Yeah, sure. No, the question is very genuine, and I think your teams can also talk to your mentors for more guidance on the slides at least, right?
Okay,
How
sir.
many slides you can put in, or how much information you can put in.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thanks. Okay. So let me move on to the next slide, which is on the product line. This talks about first of all starts with the product specification. So every time you are buy a product, right? You buy a car, you buy a tractor, you buy an implement. There is a generic product specification sheet. You need to have and mention some of the specifications here. Then it talks about differentiators, USP, differentiators and USP, right? This is very important term. Uh, if you are bringing an implement, if you are bringing a tractor to the market, and if it is similar to the other tractors or other implements on the market, then you don't really have a differentiator. For me as a customer, I can buy any tractor or I can buy any implement, and there is no differentiator for me, right? Let me give you one example. If you're working on an implement, and your implement can let's say it's a planter, and it can plant at a speed of 10 kilometer per hour, right? While the other planters in the market, they can only run at 4 kilometer per hour of speed. Now that's a differentiator, right? You can go to the market, you can go to your customers, and you can tell them that, hey, I have got a planter which can run at a 10 kilometer per hour speed, so it helps you to cover more ground in less time. And if everything seems to be similar or same with the other competitors in the market, then there is no differentiator that you have. So in the marketplace, you can differentiate your product in terms of feature, you can differentiate your product in terms of service, XYZ, but this is important. Then do you have also have variants against your on your products in terms of agricultural applications? For example, uh, you have only one implement, but with a slight change in the specification of that particular implement, it can also be used in some other agricultural applications. You can also mention that on this particular slide. This also talks about new technology innovations to attract the customers. uh, See, when you are entering into a market which is already established, your product needs to have something in it that can attract the customers, right? One of that thing is new technology and innovations. You have seen that in the car industry, or in the agriculture industry, for example, you take an example of precision ag technologies. Now, certain agricultural companies are coming up and they are saying that, all right, you buy my tractor and you have this technology on it, which is an added feature which adds value to the customer. That's how you attract your customers. So if you have certain technology or innovations on your product, you can mention it here. You can mention any safety feature as well, right? Few years back, customers would not pay any attention to the safety features, but this is not the case now. There are customers who look at the safety features as an important part of the product. So if your products have any safety features, you can mention it here. Then key performance indicator or customer delight feature. Key performance indicator. What is the key performance indicator of your product? Is it the speed of that particular machine that you're building? Is it the precise application, right? Is it the user experience? Is it the agronomic design? XYZ, whatever performance indicators you have, you can mention it here. And does your product also have any customer delight feature, right? Customer delight is something that the customer is not really expecting from your product, but they eventually get it. That delights them. That, hey, this is a surprise for me. I didn't know that your product also offers this particular thing. If you have something like this in your product, you can mention it here in this slide, right? I'll just wait for a few seconds if there is any question, or I'll move to the next one.
A very good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, can you re-explain USP?
USP. All right. So USP is unique selling points or differentiator. Now let me give you one example. See, take an example of the car industry. A car company comes up and they say that, all right, I have got ADAS feature, right? ADAS feature, all those cruise control features and everything, right? You all must have heard of it. Yeah, that's a unique selling point for that particular car company. Now, many companies have come up those features, and the companies have moved on to something else. Few years back, sunroof in the cars, that was a unique selling point for the cars, right? That was a differentiating factor for a cars. One of the differentiating factors, of course, there were many. But this talks about how your product is different in the marketplace. You take an example, right? You go to the marketplace and you get many brand products, and if all of those brands are same, all of those products are same, well, you can buy it just based on the price, right? Whichever is cheaper, you buy it because all of those things are same. But if there is some product which gives you something unique, which offers you something unique, for I just give you an example, right? If your planter, I'm just taking an example of the planter, right? I don't know on which project you guys are working on, but you take an example of a planter. If your planter can be used at a speed of 10 kilometer per hour in the field, but it can still uh, gives you the precise depth and uniformity of the seeds, and all the other competitive planters are only running at 4 kilometer per hour and also not giving you the desired results, then this is a differentiator for your product, right? This is a unique selling point of your product. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'll move to the next one, and these slides talk about the sales and marketing strategy, right? And the first thing it talks about is the launch planning of the product. See, what is the launch planning of the product? You are building a new product that has to be sold to a particular set of customers. You need to decide how you want to make sure that the customers, the potential customers, are aware about your product. They know that you have at least launched a product, right? They get interested into the product and they eventually end up buying it. And let me give that same example that I gave just few minutes back. I build a new tractor and I place that particular tractor, and I have a launch event in the shopping mall in Pune. Will I get to my target customers? Probably not. My target customers are my farmers, right? They are not really coming to the shopping malls and doing their farming. They are doing farming in their own farms, and they have their own exhibitions. They have their own certain things where they go and where they get aware about these products, right? So you have to plan those launch activities. Do you want to use those farm exhibitions to launch your products? Do you want to utilize some local exhibitions, some local events where your farmers community or where your target customers would eventually go and they become aware of your launch? Do you want to use digital platforms for your launching, right? So all of these things you can mention here. Then, of course, dealership sale points and distribution channels. Once your customer is interested in your product, they also want to buy it, right? And once they want to buy it, they put the order. You also have to supply it to them. So, what is your strategy? How you want to distribute it? Do you want to have dealers? Do you want to sell it through dealers, or you want to you want your customers to order it online, or you want to have some telephonic calls with the customers where they can place the orders XYZ, right? It is up to you how you want to sell and distribute your products. It also talks about digital marketing initiatives. I have already talked about it, right? Earlier, the customers or the farmer communities, they were not really using the digital platforms, but now many of them are digital savvy. They are using social media and other stuff. So you need to make sure that you have certain initiatives in that direction as well. Price point, of course, our market is price sensitive, so you cannot really build something which is very very expensive, which the customers might not be uh, able to afford. So you need to mention your price point and certain basis of coming to that price point, right? Then what value machine will provide? All right, this is very interesting. This says that what value your machine will provide. A value is different from a feature. And let me give you example of an implement itself. You build an implement, and I, as a customer, I come to you and I ask you a question. I say, hey, what's the value of your machine? And you say that, all right, hey, see, my implement, it has got an electronic sensor in it. So this is a very, very good value that you will get. Do you think it's a value for the customer? It's not. It's just a feature. I, as a customer, I don't care whether you are using an electronic sensor in your equipment or whether you are using a mechanical sensor in your equipment. How you can define the value is, hey, Mr. Customer, I have used an electronic sensor on my equipment, which is going to make sure that you can run in the field at a much faster speed, but still maintain the same depth and uniformity in the planting space. Thus, it helps you in increasing the yield. Now, that's something which is interesting to me as a customer. That is the value for me. Electronic sensor is not the value, but what electronic sensor is doing in your implement or in your equipment is the value that you ask your customer to, in fact, you explain it to the customer. So make sure that you are not just mentioning the feature of your product, you are mentioning the value that it provides to the customer. Right. So I'll wait for a few seconds before moving to the next slide. All right. This slide talks about the financial projections, right? So, yes.
Sir, kindly explain launch planning of the product. Repeat.
Launch planning of the product. All right. So where do you want to launch the product? How do you want to launch the product, right? I have built a tractor and I have got a launch plan that I'm going to use, let's say, a farm exhibition where I'll launch this product. That farm exhibition is in the month of January. So that is in my plan. I also have, I'll also use newspaper advertisements. I'll also use social media platforms like, for example, a particular farmers page or farmers group, social media. Then I'll also have certain brochures that I'll make and I'll distribute. I'll also call few people, or I'll also email few people or certain customers, right? So it is all about how you want to reach out to your potential customers to make them aware that you have launched a product, right? If you are launching a product and I am sitting in a room, then my customers don't even know that I have launched something, right? So it is about reaching out to your customers in different ways. Now, what are those different ways? We want to see it from you, right? We want to see that what are the different ways that you use to make sure that your customers become aware of the launch of the product and eventually end up buying it. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Suraj, just wanted to add some few points
Yes,
related
sir.
to the launch plans. So launch plan team, we need to consider points like who are the farmers and what is the geography, target geography, because it is not like you are going to launch this particular product across pan India, or we need to target some geographies where these crops are grown prominently, keeping in the mind the large scale growers or the producers like onion, chili, and tomato, the crops we are targeting. And we also need to, your plan also include how you are going to demonstrate and how you are going to make aware about this machine, whatever features and whatever customer values we are providing with this machine. For example, this is the transplanter. I can take one example. If you are giving the adjustable row spacing, this is one of the features. Just for example, so how that particular adjustable row spacing is going to help to farmers in different parts of India, wherever these crops are prominently grown. So such examples and such features you need to take, and you need to demonstrate at the time of launch planning. And while preparing the launch plan, you need to include some of the points like when that particular crop, the window of that crop, you need to take into consideration. And based on the season start or before season start, you have to plan the launch activity. Okay, it may be in terms of live demonstration. You are going to show to farmers, or it may be in terms of whatever earlier videos. If the skills are not available, then you can show the earlier capture videos. This machine is working like this way. And in launch planning, you also need to include how this particular machine is going to benefit to the farmer in terms of reducing time, also improving the safety, and overall reducing the fatigue. Okay, so all these parameters should get covered in the launch plan. And also one point is there related to forecast. So considering the planting windows and geographies, you also make a plan in such a way that, for example, I'm growing onion in Maharashtra, MP, Gujarat, and Karnataka. So considering those states, actually you need to consider the forecast. How is the yearly forecast for this particular implement? Yeah. Suraj, go ahead.
Yes, yes, Bharat. Thank you for adding. All right. So let me go to the next slide, which talks about financial projections. Look, you have designed an implement, and now you want to. Yes, please go ahead.
Logistics in sales and marketing side.
You want to know more about the distribution channels? Distribution and logistics, right? So look here, the point is you have different distribution and logistics channel for different products. What do you think would be the best distribution and logistic option for you? You are let's say you are manufacturing a tractor. Do you want to have that particular tractor built and stored in the factory, and then whenever the customer orders, you ship that particular tractor by road. Somebody drives it and gives it to the customer. Do you think it is realistic, or do you think you want to have a dealership network where the dealer is going to buy it from you? They are going to have your you have your products at their dealership, stored at their dealerships, and whenever a customer in their area, they come and approach them, they can put the order, they can give the money, and they can get the product from the dealers rather than from the company, which is probably, let's say, in Pune, and the customer is sitting in somewhere in Punjab. So this is where we want some understanding from you guys, that for the product that you are designing, what do you think your distribution and logistic channel would be? How you want to distribute and use the logistic and deliver the product to the customer, basically? What is the channel? What is the option that you want to use? Does that give some clarity?
So in logistic, I want to add one point.
Yes,
So
brother,
while
please.
designing this particular, transplanter, we need to keep in mind. It should not happen um, when you are going to transport from the manufacturing location to the distributor or the dealer location. So design should be like how you are going to stack it, one implement over the above, and how many implements, maximum implements can be loaded by considering the overall dimensions of that particular machine. It should not happen. Our machine is like it is going only one or two implements will be going in a single way or in a single trip. So while you need to keep in mind all overall dimensions, how you are going to stack on in a truck or in a trailer.
Right. So does that answer the question, or okay?
Hey,
Let
Suraj,
me
we
move.
have just 12 minutes remaining, so maybe you can plan. I could.
All right. So financial projections. See, you have designed a product, and then you are going to build a factory. So in this particular slide, you can use some assumptions that how much budget you need, right? How much capital investment you need, what would be the cost for your people and equipments, what would be your cash flow, right? You have to make some assumptions that, all right, these many numbers I'll be able to sell. This will be the money that I'll be earning, and this is the money that I might be losing in operations, in salaries, and in other stuff, in depreciations and all, right? So you can use this particular slide to give an overview on your financial projections. Then this slide can be used for implement cost details. Pretty simple.
Sir,
Yep.
sir, investment, project investment phase, what is it?
See, that's what I'm talking about, right? So when you say you're going to build a factory, how much investment are you going to take, right? Do you want 50 lakh rupees, or do you want 50 crore rupees? So you can take some assumptions and you can put it here. How many people you will be getting in, right? How much salaries you will be paying, what would be your equipment cost, what would be your cash flow in terms of inflow and outflow, right? The revenues that you are earning and the expenditure that you are creating. So this is a slide that you can use to put in something around your financials, right? You are going to ultimately ask the investors to invest in your project, so you need to give them some sense that, all right, these are the investments that I'll be making in my project. This is the money that I need for the land, this is the money that I need for the factory, this is the money that I need for the general operations, this is the money that I need to pay up the salaries of the people, this is the money that I expect I'll be earning from by selling the equipments, and this is the money that I think that I'll be spending on running that factory, right? So all that information, based on some assumptions and estimates, you can use this slide to put it. All right. Then the next slide is implement cost details. The implement that you are designing, how much raw material you need, what would be the cost of the labor, the operations, and finally, what would be the final price of the product as well as the cost of the product. So this is a slide that you can use to give those details. Right. Let me go through these slides pretty quickly, and then we might have a few minutes for question and answer. So I'll not stop in between right now. So this slide is for the funding request. This is what we were talking about, right? So now, if you're going to request the funding from somebody, you need to make sure that you have something to show them that this is the total investment that you need. For example, you need a certain amount to start your operations. Out of those certain amounts, you need X amount of money from the investors, and you will be giving this much of equity to them. You will be having this much equity to yourself or to your founders. And then once you ask money from me as an investor, you also have to show me something that, all right, I'll be putting this much of money, but then after these many months or after these many years, I can expect a break even, right? I can expect some profits out of my investments. So you can use this particular slide to give some profit projections, right? That after few months or after few years, your factory will be profitable. So the total investment that you need, and how you will achieve your break-even point, and after how many time you will have certain profits. So you can use this particular slide for this information. Then project phases and kickoff. This is pretty simple slide. You can schedule all your major milestones and deadlines of your project, and use a simple chart to make sure that you can explain it, to tell your story, that this is how you started, and these were the major milestones that you achieved. This is how you achieved it. Then once you have sold your product, your responsibility does not end there. And this is probably the most important thing that you need to do as an organization. After sales support, you have sold your implement. Now what is your after sales support strategy? And this strategy cannot be made afterwards, right? You cannot sell your product first and then you say that I'll made after sales support strategy. So you have to think about it right now. How your customers will get the spares if they need it. What would be the warranty policy, right? How your customers are going to have the after sales experience. Are you doing anything that will delight your customers in terms of after sale experience? So if you have something around these points, you can use this particular slide to do it. See, some of the products do not really need a training. The customer can go in the market and they can buy it and start using it. But some of the products, like a tractor or probably an implement, they need certain kind of training. So do you have anything planned for training or field demonstration, etc., as well, that you can use this slide to do it? And all right, I think this particular slide is something that some team members were mentioning, that this is just something that you can use if you have something additional to cover on the project. And yeah, so that's the last slide, and we still have probably 5 minutes. So now I open it up for any questions or answers, and Abhilash, I hand it over back to you actually. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you so much, Suraj. Team, any questions related to presentation, sales and marketing, or in general, any questions you have for us?
Sir, I have a question on a funding request. That
Sure.
the funding request is about current project or next business or next business.
See, the funding request is for the current project, right? The project that you're working on. If you're working on an implement and you have given all the information for your implement in this particular slide deck, so you are of course going to request the funding for this project only.
I think the question is more of a hypothetical kind, like he's confused, like whatever they are making right now as a prototype, it is actually related to that, or it can be assumed like our product will be of this design, and if we are like seeing in the long term, then in that case, like how we can prepare this slide. I think that
I, I think the
So
answer
in
Yes.
my
is
point of
for a
view, actually, we are
long-term
talking
perspective,
yes,
right, Suraj?
from long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
correct,
See,
correct.
from a general
So we are
perspective, I can
talking
tell
anything
you that
about the
what we are looking at is that you're working on a certain set of implements. See, all of these things you are assuming, right? The factory cost you are assuming, the salaries you are assuming, the operations you are assuming. Those are not really real things that you have done till now. So this is also the funding request that you have to use your estimates that you have already put in your slides, for example, right? So whatever, based on whatever studies you do on your implement, uh, this is the price that I'm going to sell it for. This is the profit or the margins that I'll be earning from that product. These are the salaries that I'll be paying. This is the money that I want from for the factory. Based on all of that, this is the investment that I need from my investors, and this is what I can offer them, right? If I'm earning
hello, sir.
20% profit on every product that I sell, and if I'm selling 5,000 products a year, then my profit is 500 or 5,000 into 20%. All right, these many crore of rupees I'm earning profits. So hey, Mr. Investor, can you put this much of amount of money into my project? This is how I look at it.
Hi,
Yes.
sir. I have a question.
Yes,
So,
please go ahead.
shall we remove those descriptions given on each slide? Is that necessary to keep it on?
Yes, that
Do
that can be removed. Yes, you can put the data in your own way. That's just for the instructions. I think in the first template instruction slide we have already mentioned that only the title
Sorry.
does not need to be changed.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes, go ahead, please.
hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in that cost, that funding request and all, we just need to give ideation or we have to just give concrete values supporting the draft content. Input.
Suraj, can you answer this question if you're there?
see, what's the question? Can you please repeat it?
Can you repeat your question? I think
Is
it's
that
about.
budget and funding request, right? Do we
Mhm.
need to specifically give the concrete data and values, or just we need to present the ideation how we think about that?
See, you have to present the ideation only, right, dear? See, from my perspective, whatever you are not going to actually sell that product to 100 customers, right? Not at the moment. When you are presenting your idea, there are certain assumptions, there are certain set of ideations that you are doing, and the team, the judges, or the people who are going to talk to you, they will be interested in knowing your thought process, not about the values on the slide deck. Suppose you come to me and you say, I'll be a profitable company and I'll earn 100 crore rupees in the next 6 months. That is not something people are interested in. What people are interested in is, what is your thought process behind it? Is there something innovative that you are doing? Is there something that you are thinking about that the others were not thinking, right? So the cost or the absolute number does not matter. What matters is how you came up to that particular number. You are saying that you will be selling your product in 1 lakh rupees, But how you come to that particular figure? Have you read the competition? Is your competition is selling at the same price, or they are lower, or they are higher? What is your raw material cost, right? What would be your profit margin? What are you considering right now? So those are the things people are interested in to learn from you, not the absolute values that you're talking about. Of course you have to have certain assumptions, of course you have to have certain ideations in you, but those have to be realistic. Those have to have some grounds, that if people ask you a particular question on a set of number, you should be able to answer it, that all right, this is how I have come up to that particular number that I have mentioned in the slide. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Actually, one
Right. So
important
Abhilash,
point.
we are 1 minute over.
Hello.
I think that's question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one
Sir,
important point. Actually, whatever points are there on each and every slide now. So please try to cover all those points. It should not happen while final evaluation. We'll be skipping some points, and the judges, they are looking at those points only, which points, the points which you have already skipped. So skip all the points and try to uh, your thought on those points.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Is
Thank you
there
for
any other question?
Sir, can you give a short description about the organizational structure?
So organizational structure. See, let me give you an example of an organization. There is a company, right? There is an X company, and at the top there is the CEO, or there is a managing director. Then after the managing director, there are few people at the top management position who are reporting to that particular CEO, and those people, those 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever number of people, they are responsible for certain functions, right? Somebody is looking after finance, somebody is looking after supply chain, somebody is looking after HR, somebody is looking after operations or XYZ, and then they have certain people reporting to them in certain positions. Those are responsible for a particular work in theirs, right? So you have to think of your company, what you are preparing, what you are producing, and for that particular product, what are the positions that you need, right? So you have to create a structure. If you are working in an organization, you need to have a structure, right? There must be somebody who's reporting to somebody, and eventually somebody is taking a decision. So you need to have some hierarchy. So this is how organization structure is. You need to define what are the important functions in your company, and what would be the people or the positions for your company. Does it answer?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
There are a couple of questions in chat. Yes, if you're comfortable in Hindi, you can present in Hindi. No issue. Okay, we are running late. Thank you so much, Suraj and Bharat, for joining and taking this session. I hope this would give a direction to the students how to prepare and present. So all the students start preparing and make sure that we're ready on 26th and 27th as per your schedule of presentation. This recording will be uploaded shortly. We'll post in the website. You can refer it later on. And if you have any questions, please post it in the WhatsApp group. We'll try to get that answered.
Thank you very much, Abhilash, and thank you very much, students. All the best for your projects.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day and good weekend, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you all. Thank you, Suraj. Thank you, Abhilash. Bye.